Well, a rather big event and downright terrifying event is happening right now, and the mainstream media is not only silent on what's going on, but they are purposefully doing everything in their power to completely shut down any information on it. I've got to tell you, I am disturbed on so many levels by our mainstream media here because they're no longer working for we the people. They work for those at the very top, those lobbyists, those governments, those global organizations, and they care not about you or I. We have to start understanding that our media has sold out. Otherwise, they would be reporting on exactly what I'm about to tell you in today's broadcast. Now, what exactly is that? How about the fact that right now over in China, they are having the largest anti-government protest that they have ever had since Tiananmen Square. And I'm talking about protests in about 7 different cities there over in China. And these are protests over their stringent zero COVID policies that have left their citizens locked in their homes, that have had citizens given crappy food and crappy sleeping quarters. They've locked them in their places of businesses and the whole 9 yards. We have never seen suppression on this level here in the United States of America, and our brothers and sisters have had enough over in China, and now they are responding with protest. And it all started, well, I'll get in a little bit of detail in that in a moment, but it started with a fire in an apartment building where people were not able to leave because of these zero COVID policies, and some people unfortunately died. Well, the people of China have had enough. And what does our mainstream media do? Not a damn thing. Not a damn thing. We need to start waking up the sleeping half, at least here in the United States of America, that our mainstream media has sold out to say even the Communist Party. Why else would they be silent? Everybody, I think, but except for Fox News and your alternative media and your more conservative media newses are talking about this. And by the way, I got to tell you, get to restrictedrepublic.com. I can't stress this enough. This is why I moved there, because of all the censorship, because of all the crap that's going on, especially in places like China. If it's happening in China, it is going to eventually hit other countries and very well could hit the United States, and it already is in a form. But get to restrictedrepublic.com right now. Get it for an amazing discount. You can get it for $50 for year after year. Use the coupon code FOREVER50. I've got some exclusive content that you're really missing out by not going to that site. But anyhow, I've got to tell you, I'm just really sick and disturbed by what's going on to our brothers and sisters over there. We already know that they've got their social credit scores. They can't buy, sell, and do certain things unless they have a good little score. And if you're attending these protests, I can guarantee you your score is going to hit the floor, right? Because everything is tracked and traced over in China. Well, now citizens in China are literally terrified that they're about to see another Tiananmen Square happen as the Communist Party starts rolling in literal tanks. Yes, you heard that right. But let's start from the beginning for those of you who may not know what's going on. But here we are on the epictimes.com. At least 10 people have been killed in an apartment fire in northwestern China's Beijing. A fire in an apartment building in northwestern China's region killed at least 10 people and injured at least 9, authorities said Friday, amid stringent lockdowns that have left many residents in the area stuck in their homes for more than 3 months. Imagine that. The actual number of casualties from such events may be much higher. The actual number of casualties is difficult to verify, as the Chinese regime routinely suppresses or alters information. So we have no dang idea how many people may have actually died, but thus far they're admitting to 10, as far as we know. But as a result of that sparked the protests there happening right now in China. Take a look at epictimes.com. I'm witnessing history in the making, says protester in Shanghai. It goes on. Protesters demanding an end to COVID lockdowns broke out in the center of Shanghai on Sunday following outrage over an apartment building fire that killed 10 people on Thursday. Those who perished in the fire were trapped in their apartments under strict zero COVID lockdown measures. In other words, they would still be alive if they weren't locked in their homes. It goes on. Videos online show protesters chanting slogans such as "Down with the Chinese Communist Party," "Remove Xi Jinping from office, amen." Before Dong, who is one of the protesters, by the way, left the scene around 8 p.m., she saw at least 3 protesters arrested. Other protesters were shouting, release them, but to no avail, she said. There were other reports of protesters being arrested, with some being beaten, with one witness stating that he saw one female protester being beaten by a dozen police, reported RFI. Other protests estimated several dozen people were arrested. The exact number of arrests cannot be confirmed. Anti-COVID lockdown protests also happen in other regions, including these 3: Wuhan, Beijing, and Yijing. So there you have it. I believe as of now, it's 7 different regions in the area. But what's really chilling is this has been going on at least for days. But they are very frustrated people, and they're terrified right now because now Xi Jinping has brought in literal tanks, leaving many to fear Tiananmen Square 2.0. Here we are. And this is on dailymail.co.uk. Tanks on the streets spark fears of new Tiananmen Square as Chinese communists flood cities with police to end unprecedented protests sparked by disastrous zero COVID policy. It goes on. Several military tanks have rolled through the streets of China as Beijing ramped up its crackdown against demonstrators who are protesting against Xi Jinping's disastrous zero COVID policies. Videos show a steady stream of tanks trundling through the eastern city on Monday night. The footage will rekindle memories of the Tiananmen Square massacre in 1989, where hundreds, if not thousands, I would veer thousands of Chinese protesters were killed by soldiers in tanks. In case you want to see these actual tanks, here they are. Video footage you can see in some of these, and there's a couple of them that keep going through, but these are some of the tanks that they've gathered footage on that you can see are in the area. Now, they are also kind of holding up the protesters there. Here's some pictures of the protesters. They're holding up white papers, sheets of blank papers and flowers to protect or to protest the restrictions there. Either way, there's a lot of things happening. We need to send some prayers their way right now. And since our stupid White House has done nothing but issue a statement saying, oh, the people over in China are as free as we are to protest. That's about it. That's a very superficial, light-based comment. And I'm really paraphrasing here what they said, but it was just a quick little one-statement sentence, and that's it. No harshness towards Xi Jinping, no comments to Xi Jinping, no sanctions or anything. Nope. Let's just let our people suffer over there. And they have been suffering. Here's what Tucker Carlson had to say about it.
You probably didn't know that Chinese President Xi Jinping sent tanks into a major city last night in order to put down protests against his rule. Virtually no American media outlets even acknowledged that that happened. And that's pretty weird if you think about it. Imagine, for example, that Hungarian leader Viktor Orban put tanks into Budapest to crush his political opponents. Would our media notice? Oh, yeah, they would. It'd be on the front page of the New York Times. Morning Joe would lead with it. And keep in mind that Hungary is a very small country. It's got a GDP smaller than South Dakota's. China, by profound contrast, has the biggest economy in the world. China's our main global rival. It's a highly significant place. And yet somehow, no one in any newsroom in America noticed when Xi Jinping decided to replay Tiananmen Square. They just didn't see it, even though the pictures were on the internet. How's that possible? Could it be that the American news media is covering for the government of China? You can't say. We'll let you make the call on that.
It's a good question. Is the mainstream media covering for China? Well, like Tucker Carlson said, I have no idea. I'll let you decide that. But what I do know is they aren't saying jack. This is not a media for the people, by the people, concerned about people. This is a media driven by the money behind whoever is paying their bills, and they're sold out, maybe to the Communist Party, maybe to the Democrat Party, maybe to the United Nations, who knows? What we do know is they're not giving you the news. They're not even caring enough. They pretend to care. They don't care at all. Why does anybody watch the likes of CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, any of them anymore? Why not? Why are they silent? You know what else they're silent on? How about the fact that Apple is complicit with China right now? Take a look. Their buddy boy, Tim Cook, mainstream media's man here. Here we have Reclaim the Net. Apple turned off private communication tool in China just before major protests broke out. No joke. Let's help the Communist Party by shutting down the people. That's exactly what they did. Earlier this month, Apple restricted the use of AirDrop in China. The file sharing tool for iOS was used by protesters to communicate freely without the risk of censorship because the tool uses direct connections between devices, creating a local network that cannot be monitored by government internet regulators. Initially, people could choose to receive airdrops from everyone nearby. However, a recent iOS update has made that impossible. The update made a change to airdrops usage that only applies in mainland China, while the rest of the world can still use it to communicate as before. Users in China can only receive from everyone nearby for only 10 minutes, putting restrictions on how it's used. Now, the airdrop has been used and is being used, or was, by protesters in Hong Kong to communicate with other protesters and bystanders. So the reason they turned it off and shut it down the way they did, well, is to shut down the protest. So here we have Apple, who is supposed to be all about freedom of speech, limiting people's speech in China. And again, the mainstream media says nothing. But hey, Apple, Tim Cook came out and said, well, that's just their policy. I'm going to follow policy in China. That's policy that's in America, America's policy. But if he were really going to follow policy per country, right? First of all, you wouldn't shut down citizens' free speech opportunities no matter what. But I digress. Say you're going after policy. I shut it down because the Communist Party made me, whatever. Well, then why, Mr. Cook, are you trying to ban Twitter from having an app in your app store if it were all about free speech and the rights of the country? Because here in the United States of America, we have what's called the First Amendment. And Twitter, now that Elon Musk is in charge, has gone back to freedom of speech. So wouldn't it mean that you would allow Twitter on there based off of our American justice system? We have freedom of speech here. They may not have that in China. But if you were who you said you were, going based off of the country, laws, rules, and regulations, then why are you trying to shut down a free speech platform in America? Why? Good question. Seems like he's more of a communist than anything else, my opinion. Otherwise, what sense does it make? And what does the mainstream media do? They support him. Wow. Brings a lot more thought to what Tucker Carlson said, doesn't it? Anyhow, wanted to bring you the latest on this. I'm sickened, and I can't even... I pray for those people. It makes me so mad. They're really looking at a potential 2.0. I don't know what's going to happen. I hope to God nothing happens, but I hope to God that the people also get the freedom that they have long wanted. That's what I hope, and that's what I pray for. And we got to keep that here in the United States of America, and we have to start getting the right people in, and we have to do it as soon as possible. Anyhow, please don't forget to check out my sponsor at stackwithlisa.com. I've got it right here. I have personally been taking this. It's amazing stuff. If you're looking something to help your immune system, this can absolutely kick it up and boost it, which, by the way, as you see on the screen here, they've also got a gummy version for kids there too, and it kind of really helps with immunodeficiency disorders, poor diet, lack of sleep, adverse reactions, and all of that. But it's got vitamin D3, vitamin C, zinc, and some other stuff in there as well, some plant-based stuff. But check it out right now at stackwithlisa.com. And by going to the site there, you can spin and get up to 15% off just by going to stackwithlisa.com. But make sure you are keeping your body healthy. This is one way that you can absolutely do that. Anyhow, I love all of you. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.